In this module, I will demonstrate how a coverage layer is used to manage the atlas generation process. One page is generated per coverage feature, and you can compile all the maps into a single PDF document or a series of PDFs or images. So the first thing you need to do is to add the data that is provided, which as you can see on the screen, we have the lake layer, the stream layer, the agricultural fields layer, and the creation grid layer. And then now, secondly, in usual cases, you will have to project, you have to reproject your layers, right? Project your layers. However, in this case, you'll notice the canvas is already in UTM for Denmark. So we're not going to project our layers. And now we are going to create a map composer layout. So you navigate to the new print layout, give it a unique, meaningful name. So I'll just give it sorry about that, a classes. Okay. So now we are going to enable Atlas in the Atlas tab, right? So you can either go to Atlas here or go to the Atlas menu and the Atlas settings at the bottom. Okay, so Atlas here. Generate an Atlas, that's us enabling the Atlas tab, or the Atlas rather. And we are going to set Atlas coverage layer to grid. So under configuration, you change the coverage layer to grid, the grid layer. And we are going to enable single file export when possible. So under input, you have to make sure that you tick the box that is next to the single file export when possible. As you can see here, it was already a default setting. Then moving on, you are going to add a map, and it has to be 180 millimeter times 180 millimeter. So go to the add map icon. Starts from 0 to 180. Okay. Why is my mouse not moving? Right. So after your map is drawn, you have to go to main properties, to the main properties of the map and change the scale to 7,500. Okay, and then when you scroll down, you will see we have the controlled by Atlas box. So you have to enable that. And then you have to set to use fixed scale. All right. And then now we are going to create 2 grids as per table. So you have to use the specifications that are provided on our exercise table. And expand the grids tab, add 2 grids. So we've got grid 1 and grid 2. So click on grid 1 and modify grid. And we are going to set the coordinate reference system to UTM grid. So we are going to use Map CRS for this grid. And we are going to change the interval, both the X and Y interval, to 500 meters. Okay. And then we are going to change the labels. So the labeling style, you scroll down and you enable draw coordinates. Okay, so here the labels have to be on the left and the top left, and they both have to be vertical ascending, right? So for left, you change from horizontal to vertical ascending, and then for the right format, you disable it, disabled, and for the top, you have to change it to vertical ascending as well. Okay, then you scroll down. For the bottom, you disable. Okay, and then now we have to change the label text and lines in blue. So when you click on font, this pops up on your screen. You go to color, change it to blue, and leave everything else as it is. And then when you scroll up, and you click on the line style, you can also change the color to blue, right? So that's all for grid 1, and you go back. And then now moving on, you select grid 2, modify grid. For grid 2, you have to change the coordinate reference system. So you click on that icon, select CRS, and you disable the use map CRS and use EPSG. To 6. So this is the given coordinate reference system. It's specified on our exercise table. So you select that and OK. And then moving on, you have to change the both the X and Y intervals to 0.008. 0.008. There we have it. And scroll down, draw coordinates. So here we want our labels to show on the right and bottom as well. So for left, for left, they have to be, the labels on the left have to be disabled, and for the right, you have to change to vertical ascending, and for top, they have to be disabled, labeling has to be disabled, and for the bottom format, change it to vertical ascending. And then we are going to change the color of the text to red in this case. Okay, and then we are also going to change the color of the lines, the grid lines, to red. Okay, so we are done with our grids. Now we are going to add a table, right? So we're going to add an agricultural table. Two ways in which you can add a table. You can either navigate to the add item menu where you scroll down to add a table, or you can expand here and the toolbox and go to add attribute table. Then you draw it. Okay. So this is our attribute table. Now we have to play around with its properties. So the first thing that we are going to do is to link the table to the agricultural fields layer. Agricultural fields, change the layer to agricultural fields, and we are going to enable table feature filtering. So you have to scroll down for that. Right. So we have feature filtering, and we are going to enable the show only features intersecting with Atlas feature. There we go. Okay, and then now we're going to modify the table attributes to show only first three attributes. So when you go to attributes, the first three attributes that we have ID, field ID, and the general NRFs. So those are the first three, and the rest we are going to remove. Okay. And we click on that minus sign. So okay, we have that. And now okay, and then now we are going to add an overview map, and it has to be linked to our first map. So when you click on the original map or the first map that we have created, lock layers, lock styles for layers, so that any changes that we make on the overview map don't necessarily affect our main map. And then now we're going to add an overview map, which is an inset map. Okay. There we have it, and it has to be linked to set map scale to match. So I have set map scale to match main canvas scale, and I am going to draw a frame. A frame around it, and all right. And now we are just going to play around with the other map elements. I'm going to add a legend. And I'd like my legend to display the grid, right? So now I'm going to remove the selected items, and I am going to rename this layer to Atlas Grid. Okay. And go back. It's named. And I am going to change the arrangement. I want my symbols to be on the right. Change fonts and text formatting. My subgroup headings. Increase the size of the font. Item labels, increase the size to 17. And frame, position and size, increase the width. And increase the height a little bit. Okay, so that's what we have. Put that there. Okay. Now we are going to add labels. Item, add item, add label. This is the operator label. So operator. Zinziswa. For sure. Kakai, that's me. Okay, something is wrong with my keyboard. Change the font size, make it a bit bigger. Okay. Center. Horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, middle. And we can move that here. And we can also add production date. Again, add item, add label. Make sure your spelling is correct. So the production date, we have the day. It is on the 20th of March 2021. Increase the font size. Remember that you have to always maintain consistency. Right, so your font type has to be the same, and yeah, okay. Let's just move these around so that we eliminate white space. Move it to the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our final product.